Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, one half of the Steve and Mike Show and one third of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. We are back this week with another edition of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast, and by my side to talk about a crazy week in wrestling from Impact, New Japan, G1 Supercard, Ring of Honor. We're talking Wrestlemania. We're talking about the whole nine that went down in the week of wrestling as none other than my homie, the Chef. Chef, how you doing today?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this. It was a long week, a lot of crazy shit happening. So it's going to be a lot of fun sitting back, chopping it up with you. So let's get it popping.
Okay, well, first and foremost, there's a lot to talk with Impact. We'll do the Impact side first because this will all tie in and correlate, but let's have some fun with this. First and foremost, we got to give a shout out to our girl, the Switch Babe, because Switch Babe, Miss Courtney Summers, actually put me onto this. So, Killer Cross, he had an event. He was doing the Bloodsport with David Hart Smith, D.H. Smith, who was actually just at the Hall of Fame. And we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame, Chef. But so they did that, they did that bout, Josh Barnett. It was apparently a gentleman, one of the Impact fans got an email from Eventbrite, and Killer Cross's name was on that poster for United We Stand. But as you and I both know, and a lot of our listeners know, Killer Cross was not on that show. And apparently he put out in a tweet, no, I'm actually very pissed about this because he's listed on an event that he is not at. So he was not too happy about that. And personally, I do not blame him because, yes, he was in New York, but he was not for Impact Wrestling in the Northeast area. He was at Bloodsport with Josh Barnett. So, Chef, give me your thoughts about Killer Cross being pissed because, hey, man, I'm not even going to be on that show.
You know what? I completely understand why he'd be upset. I mean, let's face it, when, we're fans of wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, I keep trying to tell people, I don't give a fuck what a promotion's name is. I'm a fan of the talent. So if I'm a Killer Cross fan, and just say, I'm a fan and I'm not the biggest Impact fan. I don't know. If I see his name on the card and I'm that big of a fan and I'm in the area, I'm going to be like, oh, shit, I get to see the guy, one of my favorite talents. I'm going to go. So it's absolute bullshit for them to put his name on the card and him not even be on there. So I don't know. I mean, I completely understand why he'd be upset or pissed off. It's little stupid mistakes like that should not be happening at what Impact's level is supposed to be.
And I think with this guy, again, this is a guy who, in jiu-jitsu and who's a very prominent role with Impact. He's associated with Johnny Impact and he's, looks to be involved in the world title scene with Brian Cage and more. I mean, you're using this guy in a prominent role. And to me, if you're going to, feature this guy, like we mentioned, a prominent role, a very pivotal role going forward and looks to, be like a namesake. So such and such in the company, I think this is a guy that you really don't want to, get angry. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be pushing him going on forward and, into the future, Chef.
No. You're 100% right. I mean, listen, the thing is, when you're running one of these companies, your talent's supposed to be happy. You're supposed to make them feel like they're home. If you're going to be upsetting these people, at the end of the day, when their contracts are up, these are things they will look back, oh man, they try to just, use my name to promote the show and, I'm not even on the card. It's really a bad look.
It is. And like I said, it's unfortunate that happened, but unfortunately it did. And that will bring us to United We Stand in a second. But before we even get to the, festivities that were this past week, Chef, we got to talk about another thing that happened over the weekend. And that is Eli Drake's contract has been terminated from Impact Wrestling. With this, he was very vocal in many interviews that I believe Impact Management was not happy about his position and his role in the company. I believe the whole thing, the Tessa Blanchard situation, not wanting to work her at United We Stand, and that's where Joey Ryan came in. And I think he was very unhappy, and he was very vocal about it, and I think Impact didn't appreciate it. So they said, hey, if you're unhappy and you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do business, you're terminated. So Eli Drake no longer with Impact Wrestling. And Chef, I'm going to tell you right now, these last couple months, and I'm going to be honest with you before I get your take, he did the thing with Abyss. He did the thing with Eddie Edwards that he's doing right now. I think they've kind of wasted him. I think he's a hell of a talent. I think he oozes charisma, and I think wherever he ventures to next, whether it be an AEW, an MLW, a Ring of Honor, even NXT with the WWE platform, I think his future is bright. But your thoughts on him and his contract being terminated from Impact Wrestling, Chef?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm extremely bitter about this because it's one of the wrestlers that I will always admit to being biased about. There's a few of them that I'll say no matter what, I'm biased. I'm open and honest about it. Certain wrestlers, I'm extremely biased. Here's my issue, right? Let's think of Eli Drake. Everybody wanted him as the champ. Everybody. I don't care what anyone says. Everybody was tweeting it. Everybody, Eli Drake, dummy yeah, dummy buttons and everything. Now, here's a guy that literally was a champion. And because they bring in a scrub that I don't need to name his name, that you probably will when I'm done, they job him out in less than 40 seconds to this little dude in street clothing, job him out, and what did he do after that? Nothing. He did nothing ever since they jobbed him out in less than a minute. Now, this is the same company. Now, I don't want it to make it sound like we're sandbagging it, because there are things I did like in United We Stand. So I'm not just abusing them, but this is my issue. This is the same company that a wrestler and his wife started selling merchandise saying, fuck that owl, made a whole lot of bread from it. And they were able to fucking put their tail between their legs, not the wrestler and his wife, Anthem, put their tail between his legs, they put the yellow stripe down their back, and literally put their arm around this guy like everything was okay. Now, this is a guy who shitted on not only the company, but the entire roster, and you put your arm around him. So what are you telling all the people that work for you? It's okay to shit on this company and you, because this guy's a big name, so we'll put our arm around him and everything's okay. So you're upset with Eli Drake, who said he felt like he was being, not used right, and he felt a certain way on an interview, and it's not okay, so you terminate him, is supposedly what was coming out. And okay, he didn't want to work the Tessa Blanchard thing. He didn't say nothing bad about it. He bigged her up. But at the same time, how many times do you think wrestlers say, you know what, I don't think that's for me? He is definitely not the first and won't be the last to deny a certain type of match. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't just something that just happened. He's not the first. So at the end of the day, when you really look at the situation, to me, they look really sensitive, and they use an scapegoat. They use something to say, well, he didn't want to do this, and he was saying that. But meanwhile, also, you had Sabu, who went nuts, and like abused the LGBT community. And they still used him for the United We Stand. They never even commented anything about it to say, well, dude, watch your mouth. Nothing like that. They never said nothing, but it's okay for him to talk crazy. But if Eli Drake says that he feels like he's being misused, it's a problem. This is where I get confused, because how come it's okay for all these other people to bug the fuck out and talk crazy, but when Eli Drake says something, you get fired?
You know what's funny is I remember in 2002 when Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out because they just wanted him to lose to Brock Lesnar on a Raw with no actual build. I think in this case, they build with Scarlett and Disco Inferno, and I'm not the biggest Disco Inferno fan. I know you aren't either, Chef, but they at least build to it. This was just kind of like a throwaway. Oh, you're going to wrestle Tessa at United We Stand. Okay, just a throwaway. And I think a lot of people have their views on intergender wrestling. He was very vocal that, I like her, I respect her, which she's a very talented individual. But, he didn't want to do it, and I don't blame him, because there's no build. And there's nothing really to go out of it. It's just whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a throwaway. You want to have build with story and stuff. But I think if he's unhappy and he felt vocal about it, he expressed it. Now he got his wish. He's terminated. And let's see how they're gonna, because obviously with the old Eddie Edwards storyline that's going on, let's see how they go with it now, since pretty much he's off TV. And my guess is that was going to be the rebellion match between those two, but we shall see how it all comes into fruition on that note. But I truly wish Eli Drake the best. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, if you had to pick a specific spot, where would you like to see him end up?
Oh my God! I like your style. MLW would be one. Ring of Honor, I think he would have a nice shot with because they got the TV title there. I could see him and Jeff Cobb killing it. There's Ring of WWE. He was there back in the day with developmental, but I think him and NXT would be very interesting, and we're going to talk about a new NXT superstar in a little bit. But I think he would be very interesting in the NXT realm. But I think more, if I had to pick, I'd like to see him in either an MLW or Ring of Honor or AEW. But if I had to pick, I would choose MLW or Ring of Honor. How about you?
You know what? You said it perfectly, because I also was saying the same thing. I was saying that I would love to see him on MLW, because at this point, he could come in and be one of the top guys. You know what I mean? I think that him and Teddy Hart, him and Low Key, I think they could do some amazing shit. Ring of Honor as well. Even though they're not a company that really goes crazy in the storylines or promos or anything, I think now with having a guy like Eli Drake, you know, just hand him a microphone and he will work magic. So those are the two companies that I would definitely want to see him in.
All right, now speaking of Ring of Honor, this ties into Impact. So one of the big things that happened at Ring of Honor was Kelly Klein, who is now the new Women of Honor champion again, defeated Mayu Iwatani, and we now have a babyface Kelly Klein because the beautiful people, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, came out. And we have Mandy Leon, one of your favorites and one of my favorites, Chef, the lovely and talented Miss Mandy Leon. They have a new unit. It's called Allure, and it looks like, I'll be honest with you, they could do so much with this. You could say Mandy Leon, and you can, tie in the beautiful people, say, you know what's beautiful, Kelly, is that Women of Honor championship that is going to be around my waist. You can have a nice build with Kelly Klein and Mandy Leon. We saw Jenny Rose and Stella Gray try to help out, Kelly Klein. So there's 6 women tags you could do with this, whether it be Kelly, Stella, and Jenna against Jenny, against Allure. You could do Kelly Klein, Sumi Sakai, and Mayu Iwatani versus Allure. So you have a lot of options with that. So before I get to the shots fired, what do you think about Mandy Leon, Velvet Sky, Angelina? We're talking about Allure. We now have a heel, Mandy Leon, on one side, Chef, and we now have, for the first time in her Women of Honor, Ring of Honor career, a babyface Kelly Klein.
You know, and we talk all the time, my brother. We do. Mm-hmm. I love Kelly Klein. She is in my top 5 right now. She's in my top 3 right now. And I love the fact she won again. Like I said, when I'm a fan, I'm hardcore with this. I love Kelly Klein. I love Mandy Leon as well. What an amazing match, first off. Take nothing away from these women. Holy shit. When that music hit and they came out, I was like, oh shit, Velvet Sky and fucking, Angelina Love. Then they jumped my girl. I was like, oh shit. Like, it's super cool because, let's face it, like, I love TNA. TNA was my shit. So I have Mandy Leon, the beautiful people who are now Allure, mm-hmm. and Kelly Klein all in one ring. It just so happened that 3 of them were beating up my girl. So I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking cool, but this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that I really do feel like ROH is taking a new leap. I think they're going to do a new chapter. I think with everything they're doing, I think that there's a new flavor in it. You know what I mean? I think that there's going to be a nice change. You have a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things going on. I think it's going to be amazing. Love Kelly Klein. Like, if you know anything about her, she's a sweet, super sweet person. The babyface thing is definitely going to work. She's an amazing person. But, look at Mandy Leon. She looks like a bad chick. You know what I mean? Like, she really looks like, I'll slap you just for looking at me. And then you got the beautiful people who we do know are really good heels at what they do. So this could be so fucking cool going forward.
Oh, yeah, and it's that Mean Girls vibe again, Mean Girls 2.0, because that's what the beautiful people represented. They were the Mean Girls. They were better than everybody. They had that sense of entitlement. We're beautiful. We're better looking than you, and we're better than you as a whole. So I think it's a great dynamic there. So an ex-beautiful people member by the name of Madison Rayne was on Impact this last week. She made a return. Taya Valkyrie said, where you come from? I thought you were still in the Underrealm. She goes, no, I was somewhere much worse. So that was Madison Rayne taking her shot at Ring of Honor because, creative differences. I think she wanted to be a champion and help elevate the young talents in the Women of Honor division. They rejected her idea of bringing back the beautiful people. So I guess like an FU to Madison Rayne because of the differences in the fact that she released. We now have a new formation of the beautiful people called Allure, like we mentioned, with Mandy Leon, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky respectively. And Velvet Sky goes on Twitter and says, now this is how you make an impact. So shots have been fired, Chef.
I love it. I love hip-hop music. And hip-hop, there's always a beef. There's always people taking shots at each other. So this felt like that. Now, I don't want anybody, you never want nothing serious. You know what I mean? Like, you want it to be, in the words of wrestling, like kayfabe. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's taking anything personal, blah, 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 blah. But, let's face it. Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, these are 2 former champions. And these are 2 badass chicks, you know what I mean? Like, so listen, if you're going to try to take a shot at where they're working and they're going to take a shot back at you, one shot was kind of weak because it really wasn't like she didn't name drop Ring of Honor. You knew what she was talking about. These people said, this is how you make an impact. Use the word impact. I'm not saying they definitely took a shot at him, but I think they did. But if you look at their logo, they have a kiss at the end of it. And if anybody remembers, the Knockouts logo back in the days, it had that kiss too. So that I thought was a shot.
Yeah, I think from the imagery standpoint, I totally agree with you. And you know what the thing about it too was, like, all right, now when Madison Rayne went to Ring of Honor, and we have to say this because, you and I are very real about our feelings, so here we go. All right, so I remember when she did the last match in Impact a year ago against Su Yung. Before that, she had wrestled Sumi Sakai. Then she went to WWE in the Mae Young Classic. She lost in the first round. And then she was gone. And then she decided, hey, I'm going to sign with Ring of Honor. It didn't last very long. And now she's back in Impact. She just lost to Jordynne Grace. And now Jordynne Grace is going to fight Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts title at Rebellion. So, I mean, when it comes to Madison Rayne, and I'm sorry, I think with the Impact fans is like, because you and I, we were like, oh, God, last year they're going to do Su Yung and Madison Rayne. Like, who cares? I know it's to put over the young talent, but why? And everybody was, about it. But now that she's back in Impact, everybody's like, oh, my God, she's back home. So that was where I was just like, with the whole entire thing, too. So that's a double from me, Chef. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have no problem. Listen, it's wrestling. You want these people to get work, hop around. Do whatever you want. Make your bread, hop around. If you have an opportunity to be a Mae Young, you know what? That only puts more eyes on you. Do the Mae Young. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever you're going to do. But at the end of the day, she left Impact for a reason, then went to Ring of Honor, then, went to Mae Young, back to Ring of Honor, back to, Impact. I mean, at what point do you sit back and then you fully feel like you need to not protect, but like, to always try to sit there and be like, well, hey, this is that. No, at some point, all the hopping around is going to eventually say, well, where's her loyalty? Where does she want to do? Listen, in the workplace, it's just like anywhere else. You have a boss. Sometimes you got to do shit you don't like. You got to suck it up and take it. That's just the way shit works. So if people didn't want to go the same direction as you and you're like, well, I don't want to do this. Well, you know what? That's why they're bosses. Sometimes you got to do shit you don't want. Listen, we all fans of certain guys that are like super jobbers and we just think they're fucking cool. You think they want to sit there and lose? Like, what's this guy from WWE who had like 296 losses in a row or some crazy shit?
Curt Hawkins, who just won the tag titles. Yep.
Yeah, listen, think about this guy, right? Like, if you're a fan of this guy, when was the last time you fucking seen him win before Mania?
2016 against Apollo Crews.
This is why you're the professor, because to pull that shit out, listen, we didn't even talk about WWE prior to coming on here. To throw that shit out there is absolutely amazing. Somebody, just for the likes of it, just give a thumbs up just on that.
Well, they embedded it into my head a lot of times, because when they did like a short little thing on him, that they pointed out that the last time he won was against Apollo Crews, and I also remember watching that match.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so you think he won to lose 200-something times in a row?
I think from Curt Hawkins' standpoint, I think it's a guy that, he has his own school. He has Creative Pro on Long Island. He's doing the honors and helping out the young talent. That was his reward. Him and Zack Ryder got their Mania moment, and now they're the tag champs. I mean, dude, the last time they were the tag champs was 11 years ago, and they won it in New York. So how apropos 11 years later, they won it back in the Northeast. New Jersey, but still, it's a nice feel-good moment for them. And it built the storyline. And it built the storyline because they kept losing, and then look at it, they finally win. And it's a miracle winning they're the tag champs, so they get the spotlight on them.
Oh, no, see, I'm 100% behind it, but what I'm saying is to watch your favorite wrestler or one of your guys lose night after night after night after night, you're like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it. Why? Because like you said, he's got his school. It puts an eye on him. Even when he loses, hey, that's our guy. Mm-hmm. We train under him. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, it's got to suck to constantly fucking lose. Nobody wants to lose. If you want to, listen, if anything in life you want to lose, please don't try to associate with me. I'm super hella competitive. I want to win at everything. It's just the way I am. You don't think that these people are like that? Everybody wants to win. Why would you not want to win?
Exactly. Oh, I also have to say this funny story. So the first time I ever saw Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins, they were wrestling as Brian Myers, which is Curt Hawkins' real name, and Brett Matthews, who was Zack Ryder. So when they were in the New York Wrestling Connection, they used to come out to the Backstreet Boys, It's Gotta Be You off the Millennium album, which I'm guessing that was a Zack Ryder call because he's a huge Backstreet Boys fan. So after watching those guys since 2006 and, coming to the WWE and just the careers that they've had, the ups and downs, I think it's great for those two. And as a fellow New Yorker like you are, I think we gotta... I'm going to quote you, Chef. We got to rep our city. So, fellow New Yorkers winning.
Absolutely. And congratulations to, what's his name? He proposed to...
LVN. Congratulations, Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green.
Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green. There you go. I think they did it on some, Manhattan rooftop, which is super cool. So congratulations to them.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I was always an LVN fan just because we've talked about the knockouts crap at the end. Oh, my God, she wanted to leave at the tapings with the belt. No, I think she wanted to leave for a while. It wasn't supposed... She even said on the Edge and Christian podcast that she's like, I think something happened and it wasn't supposed to be me, so they gave the title to me. But I think they knew she was leaving, so she's like, she did the honors on the way out. So stop with the LVN hate, people, the unnecessary hate, as I like to call it, because she's a very talented individual. Ugh. People. And also, just to go back to the Mae Young thing very quickly, I mean, look at Madison Rayne, look at Sienna, Allison Kay. Mae Young, is a staple in the women's wrestling and just in general, and professional wrestling as a whole. Why would you not want to take that? So they got, eliminated early. They could say that they wrestled on WWE platforms. So I think that's awesome for the two of them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Completely agree.
So, dude, now we're going to talk about United We Stand, because there was a lot of changes on this one as well, because originally in the X Division match, we were supposed to have Cotto Brazil and Jack Evans in there. Now, Cotto Brazil, I believe, wrestled with MLW, or he was booked for another show, and Jack Evans, I think, was booked for another show, so you already lost two of your guys that were in that match. So it wound up just being Ace Austin, who got in at the last minute, Dante Fox, AR Fox, Jake Crisp, Pat Buck, and Johnny Impact. And now Johnny Impact won the match, so he now has a future X Division Championship title match. The champion of the company now has a future X Division title match. What do you think about that?
No, I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, to be honest with you, if he could have looked strong anyway, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a veteran. He could have did his flippy shit. He could have looked really strong and not even won. You know what I mean? Like, and to be honest with you, why is he even getting that shot? What is the point? He's the face of the company at the moment. Why does he need the X Division belt? Like, I hate when they do that. I hate it when they did it with Lashley, and I'm a big Lashley guy. I thought that was absolutely stupid. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, if anything, and I didn't pick him to win. I didn't pick Jake to win. I did not do that. I took Cotto Brazil, which obviously something happened and, he couldn't be a part of the show. But at this point where OVE is about to be a wave, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not just saying because of Fulton. These OVE brothers, they're good talents. I say it all the time. Their mic skills, you know what I mean? Like, they're not good on the mic. But they don't need to because they got Sami Callihan. So Sammy, even when he loses, because he loses a lot, is official. And then you got your big boy with the Madman Fulton guy. Who, going forward, they're going to be a wave. If you would have gave one of those guys a belt, it just enhances what OVE is about to be. And that wave looks a little better because they got some gold on them. So I would have gave it to Jay Christ. Or if I said his last name, my fault for chopping it up.
No, you're right. You're right, Chef.
Okay, finally. Like, I don't know. I really don't like, Morrison, Mundo, Impact.
Whatever you want to call him. Johnny Rent the name.
Yeah. Johnny 6 million names later. Whatever. It just makes no sense to me. Like, why do you need to keep feeding this guy? You know what I'm saying? Unless he's going to, which puts him backwards. If he winds up dropping that belt, like the heavyweight, and then he becomes the X Division champ when it's a big drop off, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
Well, we will have Rebellion predictions, so we'll discuss more of that when we get to those. But yes, I was kind of about it too. Now, as someone who did see this, I was just kind of like I said, like you and I, we both saw this. We both were kind of like, with this show. Don't get me wrong, everybody worked hard, but, well, here's the thing that I want to mention to you, because they took Johnny Impact out of the match because of the feud with Cage, and, I'm not going to be on the same team as Johnny Cage. So they replaced Johnny Impact on Team Impact with Tommy Dreamer And for Team Lucha Underground, they had to switch out King Cuerno, El Hijo del Fantasma, because he's suing Lucha Underground. So, I mean, when you got a dude who's like Joey Ryan and Evilise, who's on the lawsuit against Lucha Underground, can't do that. So they replaced him with Marty the Moth Martinez, and Team Lucha Underground won, beating Team Impact with Tommy Dreamer as a late addition. So Team Lucha getting the dub, Chef.
Yeah, no, I picked Team Lucha. It was a good match. I like Marty anyway. I mean, there was a lot of issues. You had, what was it? Oh my God, there was like three.
King Cuerno, El Hijo del Fantasma with the lawsuit.
Yeah. Those guys are official. And then you had the Eddie Edwards issues with his teammates, and it was a typical thing, and I did enjoy it. This match I really did enjoy. And it was cool to see Lucha go over, because it is an Impact show, and, it is Team Lucha, even though we don't even know if Lucha Underground exists anymore. It was really cool to see it. I like it. It could lead to things going forward. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of opportunities with, if Lucha does go under and Impact can get those talents, you could build a Lucha Underground faction to go against, everybody in Impact, or however they want to do it. It's a lot of talent that's there. Really good match. I enjoyed this match.
And then you had Taya Valkyrie beat Jordan Grace, Katie Forbes, a.k.a. Chloe Hertz on WoW Women of Wrestling, and Rosemary, and also Katie Forbes, Rob Van Dam's girlfriend. This also was fine, but I think you could agree with me. It was solid, but you knew Taya was going to win. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To be honest with you, I think that everybody looked good, though. I think that was the really cool part of this match, is a lot of people who might not have knew who Katie Forbes was. She didn't look green. She didn't look like a scrub or an extra. Like, everybody had their spot, and it was really good.
And also, you build more with Su Yung coming out there and her, Rosemary and her brawling, so they built more with that storyline, so it excelled in that form.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. This match was done really well, and it wasn't like a typical, like a one-night only or like a gimmick show where nothing was leading forward. This still tied into Impact, you know what I mean? So with Su Yung coming out, it leads still going forward, so the direction of wherever Impact is going. I really enjoyed this one.
Now, this one you were also happy about because your boys in LAX defeated Promisiones Dorado, Low-Key, and Ricky Martinez. LAX getting the dub.
Well, I actually picked Low-Key.
Yes, you did.
I did. There was no loser here, and this is one of those matches where you knew there was not going to be a loser. This was a great match, but it's not a surprise. You have, 4 guys that can go. You know what I mean? Like, so super enjoyable. I hope to see Low-Key doing more stuff, with Impact. I don't know if it will. I don't know. But this was a really, this was strong. This was, once again, I think this should have been the main event. But, tomatoes, whatever, forget about it.
Then the next matchup, we saw Tessa Blanchard get the win over Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan doing his lollipop stuff, putting the lollipop in the mouth, the super kick. We got to see the dickplex. We got to see the boobplex. We got Joey Ryan doing his thing. Tessa going at him hard, hit him with the Magnum 1, 2, 3. I think Tessa looked good, and it was actually it was not bad. I know. Go ahead.
I don't want to shit on Joey Ryan. I'm not a fan. I don't like the gimmick. I don't like, and I'm not saying him because I know he's super over, and that's a blessing, because just because I don't like it, that don't mean shit. You know what I mean? Like, that people aren't going to like a lot of things, but I just dislike the character so much. And I mean, he's a talented guy, but his matches and shit, I'm just like, I just don't care. Like, and it just, when you don't like something or it doesn't interest you, it's really hard to stay focused on it.
Oh, yeah. And you know what it is, too? Like, as someone who's been watching Joey Ryan for over 12 years now and his run in Impact and just, again, being the 80s porn star, that sleazeball type of gimmick, I'm not trying, like I said, I try not to sound like a wrestling purist, but I'm like, really? Like his penis has powers, and then you flip him. And, dude, we even had the friggin' penis party over the weekend where Allie, who was back from the dead, teamed with Rosemary to take on Thunder Rosa and Holiday, the Twisted Sisters, at the penis party. I mean, this thing has kind of become a life of its own. I mean, if it gets over, it gets over. But still, I'm just kind of like, yeah. he's getting over because of his penis. And just, ugh. So I'm kind of there with you. I understand.
No, absolutely. And the cool thing is, here's the cool thing, because I can sit there and not be interested, but the fact that it keeps growing and it keeps elevating, that just shows that he's doing something right. Just because I'm not interested in it doesn't mean absolutely nothing, because if you can have hundreds of thousands of people and maybe a few hundred people don't like it, you know what? You're doing your thing because so many people like it. And people who listen to podcasts, they get so offended so easily that people are so fucking sensitive now that all they're going to hear is me say, oh, Chef's a hater. He don't like that just cause. But I have to always, like, this shit wouldn't happen in my generation. Because you could say, oh, this is whack. And no one's going to sit there and be like, oh, he's a hater. The whole hater shit is dumb. But you have to correct. Like, you have to be in so detail of why. So I have to actually sit there and say, well, no, I think this is awesome for other people, except just not for me.
Agreed, man. Like I said, you're very on point with it, and I guess a reaction is better than no reaction. I mean, he's making noise. He's making. People are reacting to him. If you're evoking emotions, then you're doing your job.
Preach.
So after this, we had another substitution, if you will, because of the whole Yamato thing with Dragon Gate. Rich Swann, Bleep Flamita. It was good, very solid. I think they both worked well together. I think you can agree with me on this. With Rich Swann and Flamita got his name out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know a lot about his work, and I really enjoyed it. I think these two guys really had a really strong showing. This was a really good match. And at the end of the day, it's really cool to see talents you don't see regularly or you don't know about. And then when they can do something, and I mean, listen, Swann is a professional. Swann, he's an entertainer. The guy is fun. This was a really good match.
Then we had one of the matches, Sami Callihan beating Jimmy Havoc in the Monsters Ball, where lemons were involved, salt, him being barefooted, just a lot of crazy lemons, a lot of crazy stuff, and a hell of a brawl with Sami Callihan getting the Cactus Special pile driver for the win on some chairs. Dude, it's these two, man. You know that they're going to work hard and they're going to kill it, so it was a hell of a brawl.
Absolutely loved this match. This was probably my favorite match. One, because I'm extremely biased. Once again, I admit it, to Jimmy Havoc. But Sami Callihan this is what he's built for, and you don't want him to continuously do this because these type of matches, they do shorten your career. They do put a whooping on your body. But holy fuck, man, did these two guys go to war? You know what I mean? Like, this was hardcore, and I love this shit. I love Sami Callihan. I don't even say I'm a fan. I just appreciate and love his work because I'm not a fan. But holy shit, like, Sami continuously grows. If you don't know Jimmy Havoc's work, that's your fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is just a fucking king of hardcore all over the world. And they dropped a gem on him.
And then that brought us to what was dubbed the Dream Match, the Lucha Brothers beating Rob Van Dam and Sabu. So Cero Miedo, RVD to start it off. I mean, they went back and forth with Sabu eating the pin like we knew he would after the Spike Pentagon driver. Kind of short. There was a botched Rolling Thunder in there with Rob Van Dam. Overall, it was okay. What were your thoughts on the main event? Yeah, see? There we go. Go ahead.
All right. Let me be a little honest here. I didn't think Sabu and RVD would look as good as they did. Let me just give them credit for that.
Yes, okay.
With their age and how long they've been in the game and how beat up these guys have been, they look great. The match itself, I thought it was average. I was like, all right, I guess. I would have had 3 matches that would have easily, been way better that I would have put at that spot. But, I get it. You're trying to use names. You're trying to say, well, we're bringing in RVD and Sabu, 2 ECW legends and blah, 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 blah. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. Your main event is supposed to be the best match by far. You're supposed to sit back and say, this is going to be the match that puts this shit over. The last thing people remember about United We Stand should be something amazing. Should be Sami Callihan and Jimmy Havoc. Should be LAX versus fucking MLW, which is low key and whatever. Just in general, this felt like a lower mid card match. It didn't. I don't know. I don't know if they. I don't know. I don't want to shit on it. I thought it was okay at best.
Now I'm going to ask you about parallels, and then we're going to give highlights of this, just because there was a lot of wrestling, so we're gonna do our best to give you some highlights of this, because there's a lot of stuff that went on over the weekend. But I have to ask you, Chef, honest opinion on this one. Okay, so 2010, Rob Van Dam came in. 2 months later, he beats AJ Styles. He's the world heavyweight champion. Could we see something similar 9 years later? He's just coming in around the same time that he did in 2010, and then a couple months later, he beats Johnny Impact for that world heavyweight championship. What do you think about those parallels possibly happening?
I mean, he looked good. So
He did.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. But at the same time, what about, and I do think that, I think Moose would be a great mid-card champion. I think he'd be an amazing mid-card champion, but he's been in the company a long time. I'm not an Eddie Edwards fan. Love the guy, not a fan. He's been in the company for a long time. Killer Cross, everybody wants as a champ. So why would you bring in the old guy? And I'm not just trying to say him because he is. He's the older name. He's the veteran. Why would you come in and hand him a belt when all these people are primed to take that spot? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part where I lose a lot of interest, where other companies do that as well. It's not just Impact. Mm-hmm. But you sit back and you're like, what about everybody that's been here the whole time? What about the guys that are killing themselves day in and day out, year after year? And this guy just comes in, and because he's, an older guy, not an older guy, a name, you're just going to hand him a belt. So I would be against it. I understand why they would, because, listen, it's RVD. He has a massive following. He's a legend. I get why they would, but at the same time, for the guys that have been there, I think I side more with them because they put in the time. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
So I think of it like this, like with Moose, look at what happened to him a year ago, man. He was challenging Austin Aries for that title. This year he's feuding with the Rascals in a comedy feud where he's in the Rascals hangout and he's supposedly getting high with them and he just enjoys smacking them around. So he's kind of in that comedy feud now, very comedic role. I think he's a dude, like you mentioned, mid-card champ or even world heavyweight champ. I think that's a dude he's big and he has a lot of talent. So I'm interested to see what happens. And speaking of else with what happens, we got to talk about Ring of Honor, man, because we're talking about G1 Supercard. There's a lot of matches, and we're going to go through some highlights here. But I want to talk about one of the other big news from Ring of Honor. We're talking about Enzo and Cass coming out there, man, brawling with the Briscoes, brawling with the whole nine, man, the Guerrillas of Destiny, and Tonga Lohan going out and saying, fuck Ring of Honor and fuck Enzo and Cass. What are your thoughts on Enzo and Cass's, insertion and getting inserted in there into a Ring of Honor?
How you doing?
Oh my God! Now, okay, as someone, okay, how can I follow that? No, but as someone who is not the biggest Enzo Amore fan, I think Bully Ray has a lot to do with that because he's good friends with Enzo and Cass since 2016, and when they were doing the Dudley's feud, and he's a fellow New Yorker. But I mean, Cass, it's interesting. I mean, they shook things up. They got people talking, and it even said on their shirts they're still certified. So I mean, there's another entry into the tag division.
I agree with you. Here's the thing: I've never been a big Enzo or Big Cass fan. I think Big Cass is just 7 foot tall. Can't talk. That's why he has the little guy. Mm-hmm. Little guy I don't even like as a wrestler. I think he's if you give a microphone to Enzo, he's going to make you laugh. This dude is really good on a microphone. He says some really cool shit. Here's the thing. A friend of mine is a big Enzo fan, and it's not Hurls, this is one of the homies from New York. He was like, bro, do you follow @Real1? And he keeps asking me, and I'm like, who the fuck is @Real1? You know what I mean? I'm trying to think, what rapper do I not know right now? Because, most rappers back in the days or graffiti artists, they put one or at the end of their name. So I'm thinking, who is this person, right? So eventually I get tired of him because I'm like, dude, I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about. And he's like, real one. Now, he's not a big wrestling fan, though. Like, all he knows is this guy for some reason. Like, so I'm like, I bet. I look, first thing is fucking the face of Enzo. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, you barely watch wrestling and somehow this is your favorite wrestler? Like, how the fuck does Enzo come into, that effect? So he's like, no, just pay attention to a few of the videos. And Enzo was doing some really cool shit where, like, some of his fans, he would go see them. And some of these kids had, like, muscular dystrophy and, and issues. And he was doing a lot of shit for a lot of these people. And you could see the sensitive side to it. So being a parent, I kind of took a weak side to him. I was like, damn, like, all right, let me just leave my wrestling prejudice against him. Because I'm not a fan of this guy, and I admit that. Watching his Instagram, because I do follow it, I got a liking to him. I was like, okay. Then he had some funny segments. In ring, I still know he's not the best. But on a microphone, he'll kill it. This fight that happened, if it looked serious. These guys looked like they were throwing real punches. When Bully Ray launched him into the fucking guardrail, he launched him into the guardrail. This was not like a, here you go, buddy. Here's a little, hip toss. No. He took his little ass and he launched him. This can definitely elevate the tag team divisions when you got like Lifeblood, the Briscoes, so on. Once again, mic work is going to come into this. So if you give him a microphone, it doesn't matter if Big Cass and Enzo lose. I don't know what their tag name's going to be. But now you don't just have wrestling. ROH seems to be going in a direction where we are going to cut more promos. We're going to let guys talk. And you know what that means? Better storylines. So I enjoy it. I don't know how much I'll like Enzo and Cass. I hope I do, because I'm starting to really like what ROH is doing. I love the Women of Honor. I think that's amazing. I like some of the moves that they've made. For all the people that keep sitting there saying, oh, Ring of Honor lost all their top guys. No. Think about this. Every company this is happening to. All your favorites, if they get that contract from WWE, they're going. The other half of that started AEW. So that whole argument of, well, they lose all their guys. Well, no, but they're bringing in guys. What's the guy? I always forget his name. Jesus Christ, you said it earlier. He was from Lucha Underground. I see him at ICW.
Oh, the El Hijo del Fantasma one that I mentioned?
Or no. The guy, he's the TV champ right now.
Oh, Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb. That's a massive signing. People don't understand how awesome Jeff Cobb is.
He's very good. Former Olympian.
This is why I love talking with you, because when I try to figure out in my head and I forget things, listen, I'm getting older. I got kids. My 12-year-old is driving me fucking nuts. I got a son in college. I try to think of things, and you're just like, boom, boom, boom. This is why I love working with you.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual.
This guy is legit. So, yeah, they did lose some big names, but they're gaining names too. So, love what ROH is doing.
I gotta say this. I was always like, when he was, Matanza Cueto in there, he was great in Lucha Underground. Dude's big dude. He can move. I think he's just gonna keep shining. He's now the never openweight champion, besides being the Ring of Honor television champ. He beat Will Ospreay, and I mean, the dude's just killing it. He's a big dude that can move, and I think down the line I could see him in a WWE ring, and I think we're just gonna see Jeff Cobb just shine. And speaking of people that are shining, dude, we had Matt Taven finally win the Ring of Honor World Championship. Kota Ibushi won the Intercontinental Championship. All in all, this is top to bottom a great Supercard, but I gotta ask you, you gotta get your thoughts on this, Chef. Kazuchika Okada, they are now one apiece. Him and Switchblade Jay White, we gotta get that grudge match, but Okada, once again, is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Jay White won it in, January, February, right after Tanahashi beat Omega. Tanahashi had that short reign. Jay White wins the title, but at MSG, Okada gets that championship back. What are your thoughts on Okada winning the belt back? You know what? This actually surprised me. A lot of this has been surprising me, because I haven't been big in New Japan until maybe, Dave, you would know better, because you and my son, you talk New Japan, and he was the one that was putting me onto it. And I remember he was saying, like, there's only like 15 or 16 title changes in like 75 years or some crazy shit, right? So I was like, wow.
I do know that when Omega was losing, he was going to drop the belt. You know, let's not go crazy. He was leaving. But for Switchblade to win it, I was kind of like, wow, I'm surprised he dropped it. For him to lose now, I mean, we talk, and I was telling you and Courtney, I was like, listen, there's no way Jay White loses, because with a company that does not turn their belt over like that, I didn't think that there was opportunity for it to happen. So when it happened, I was stunned. It was like one of those really cool wrestling moments where you think so heavy, this is definitely not going to happen. So when it does happen, it's like, holy shit. So, I mean, I don't know why, maybe they didn't think that Jay White was the guy at the moment or whatever it was. Awesome match, and I do like the winner.
Me too, and I can't wait for more between those two, because those two, have great chemistry. Obviously, the match at Wrestle Kingdom was short, but was to push up Jay White. I think that dude has a bright future, and he's going to do very, very well going forward. And Okada, I'm going to just say it, I'll curse, he's the fucking Rainmaker, so I mean, he's gonna do it up. It's Kazuchika Okada. But dude, speaking of someone who's doing it up, I got to mention NXT TakeOver New York for a second, because top to bottom it was great. War Raiders retaining over Aleister Black and Ricochet. Johnny Gargano was the new NXT champion. Shayna Baszler still holding on to that gold. We had Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle kill it. But one I have to mention to you, Mr. UK, Walter is the new NXT UK champion, defeating Pete Dunne.
Okay, here's where I'm bitter, pleased, and excited.
Okay.
I don't like Matt Riddle at all. I think that I will admit, I have a bunch of guys at work, and they have gotten me to really, really dig Velveteen Dream, because at first I was like, this guy is just way too soft for me to like this guy. Velveteen is fucking amazing. I think that he should be on the main card, and at this point, I think he might get lost in the shuffle, so I could see them keeping him down there. He's absolutely amazing. For him to lose to Matt Riddle, there goes my bitter. What an amazing fucking NXT TakeOver. I mean, I thought TakeOver blows out Mania. I think TakeOver was that fucking good. Mm-hmm. My man Pete, Walter. Amazing match. Amazing match. Did I want Walter to go over? No, but I like Walter. So it's like, you can't have, let's face it, Pete Dunne, he's been the champ for 2 years or something like that?
685 days.
685 days. Eventually, listen, every dog has his day. Now, I'm not saying Walter's some scrub, because that's a big boy who puts in the work.
And that running drop kick every time he does it, woo!
Oh, my God. I mean, that is like a fucking freight train, dude. That's, Jesus, it's nuts. But I have no problem with Dunne losing. Obviously, he's one of my favorites, so you don't ever want your guy to lose. But this sets things up. And if you're looking at what the NXT UK brand can look like, these two guys can take it to another level. There's so much. NXT UK is so stacked from top to bottom that these two guys are going to take it to another level. I love what's going on. NXT TakeOver is just fucking amazing.
And then we got to WrestleMania, which was long. We had 4 matches on the kickoff. We saw Carmella win the Women's Battle Royal. We saw Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder beat the Revival for the tag titles. We saw Braun Strowman get involved with the Saturday Night Live guys, and he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And Tony Nese, a fellow New Yorker, Long Islander, beat Buddy Murphy for that Cruiserweight Championship. So we had, in total, 4 matches, 5 o'clock on the network, 6 p.m. Eastern was on USA. So we had 4 matches in total on the kickoff, Chef.
I mean, Mania is just too fucking long.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I know I got it. I'm watching it. I'm starting to talk to the wife while this shit is going on, because she's just, at one point my son's got to go to sleep for school. Yep. She's got to go to work the next day. I had a long fucking work day. It's like, I get home, Mania's already on. I came in, I think I only missed 2 matches of the kickoff. And I come in, I put it on, I start cooking my dinner. Everybody got to feed the family. I'm just listening to it. At one point, I'm talking to my boy Murder, right? And I'm just, at this point, it's like 12:05. And I'm like, what the fuck am I still doing up watching wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, how long is this shit? He's like, bro, it's like 7 hours. I'm like, 7 fucking hours? Can you imagine sitting in MetLife Stadium?
That was my exact thing.
I love MetLife Stadium, not shitting on it, right? But can you imagine sitting on those hard-ass fucking plastic seats for 7 hours? That's like a regular work shift you're not getting paid for.
Yep.
Holy fuck, way too long. I do like Braun going over and being the Andre the Giant, and he crossed his arms like to show homage to, the late great. So thought that was cool. Everything else was all right. It is what it is.
Now, obviously, Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar for the title to kick it off. Some other highlights. Well, I have to say this to you. Kurt Angle doing the honors for Baron Corbin on the way out.
Fuck Baron Corbin.
I know, me too. I agree. But do you know what all right, so on Raw, what they did is Kurt Angle got his revenge. He put an ankle slam and an ankle lock on, Baron, but also Kurt Angle with 2 birds with 1 stone. He got his revenge on Corbin, but he also put over Lars Sullivan, who made his debut on the main roster, and he took out Kurt Angle.
I got no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, whatever stage fright that he got the first time, and hopefully that's gone, because they do believe in him. He was over in NXT, so obviously they feel like this guy has something special in him. It is what it is. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think, you know what it is, too? Like, you see, you got that image in my head now, Chef, of just sitting 7 hours on those chairs, and it's long. You know what? My butt is starting to hurt, and I ain't even sitting on those chairs for 7 hours. My butt is just hurting from that image that you just put into my head, Chef. Jeez, man.
Bro, it's crazy.
It is.
I mean, first of all, 7 fucking out, bro. And then I had heard that next year's might be longer.
Oh, God, in Tampa Bay, yeah.
Dude, first of all, I live in Florida. I love Florida. People have no idea. I'm a New Yorker through and through. I bleed that shit. If you cut me, my blood does not turn red or blue. That shit spells New York City. But as much as I love fucking Florida, okay, do you know how fucking hot it's going to be sitting in Tampa Bay for 7 to 8 fucking hours?
As someone who has a cousin in Tampa, yes, I know.
You understand the problem. The struggle is real with the heat out here.
It is. The struggle is real.
I'm being honest, bro. You go outside sometimes and you get punched in the face by heat. It's not a lie.
It's Florida problems, Chef. It's Florida problems.
It is.
I mean, when you also look at the show, obviously it was great to see Becky get her shine, even though some people were saying Ronda's shoulder was up, but still Ronda took her first ever pinfall loss at Mania. Now Becky is the champ, dual champ, Raw and SmackDown Women's Champ, winner take all.
You know what? I was excited about this match. I've been really high on the first female Mania, main event. I was super high on it. I didn't understand why Charlotte was in there besides her last name being Flair. There were a lot of botches in this match. And I think that having a triple threat with the 2 other girls, because Becky is official. Becky is better than both of them in ring, no question. Ronda she struggles at times. She's had a few botches. They even botched the table.
Yep.
She redid the kick versus Charlotte Flair. Like there was just a bunch of spots where it just looked sloppy, and it took away. I think if you would have had a one-on-one Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, because there was also the idea that, okay, well, you don't want Ronda to lose and take the pin. That's why you'll throw Charlotte Flair in there or Becky Lynch. Charlotte will either pin Becky Lynch or Becky Lynch will pick Charlotte. Well, no, you still had fucking Ronda get pinned, so why did you need Charlotte Flair in there? I thought, listen, she had the cooler entrance of everybody else.
Oh, yeah, the helicopter.
The helicopter thing, and I know her daddy did it. I thought it was fucking super cool. And I was like, oh, shit, because she was the first fucking entrance. So I'm like, all right, how are they going to step their shit up next? Joan Jett, I thought that was pretty cool. Pay homage to a classic song. That was kind of cool. I was like, okay, Ronda's entrance was all right. And then Becky Lynch just kind of came out, and I was like, wow, why does she get a fucking boring entrance? You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was I don't know. I did not enjoy. I love Becky Lynch winning, but I thought the match was kind of ass.
Me too. Like I thought it was kind of but I think in the same token, I liked the moment that the women finally got the chance to main event Mania. I thought that was cool. We also saw Batista. That was his final match against Triple H with the involvement of Ric Flair in there. One thing I have to mention before I mention this other match, and then I'll have a couple final tidbits for you, Chef. But I have to ask you, what did you think about the return of the Doctor Thugonomics interrupting Elias?
Okay. Once again, it's kind of a bittersweet thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know I love Elias. I think Elias is the fucking man. He's kind of seems like he's already lost steam because he came in hot and he's kind of afterthought already. Dr. Thugonomics John Cena missed the word life himself. Now, when the screen started going and it showed Babe Ruth, I'm like, Babe Ruth? Who the fuck is from New York that's going to come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then John Cena coming out, Dr. Thugonomics, rocking a fucking Babe Ruth jersey. Now that to me was really cool. He's a Boston guy, so for him to rock a Babe Ruth jersey, I thought was super fucking cool. And he came out, he did his spiel. I thought he murdered him. I was like, oh shit, John. This is vintage John Cena. I thought that was super cool. So I really enjoyed that segment because it was a nice segue of going back in the days. You know what I mean? Like before he was John Cena, the champ, Dr. Thugonomics came out.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I had flashback to 11, 12-year-old me, 03, 04, when he was at, the point with that gimmick, and that gimmick was on top before he started going to the chain gang and hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up. So I thought it was a very nice throwback. And speaking of something else that was... All right, I'm going to mention this to you because we're throwing it back. We're taking it back to a match earlier in the night. Kofi Kingston finally, wins that World Championship from Daniel Bryan. The image did come out in the video of former WWE superstar Shad Gaspard from Crime Time and MVP crying that Kofi Kingston, first ever African-American WWE World Heavyweight Champion. It was a very integral and pivotal moment in WrestleMania history. What do you think about Kofi finally getting the title?
First, I want to go into Shad Gaspard MVP.
All right.
I first seen it on Instagram, and I watched it, and I was moved by it. I was like, you know what? This is real shit. Like, I see people, why did they why were they recording the reaction? Why were they this? Why? It's fake. It's set up. First off, calm the fuck down, okay? I'm pretty sure whoever was recording, I have no idea. I don't even care. But what people don't seem to understand is this changed history. This was so monumental. And for people who are in that industry, who are black, that never, let's keep it a buck, because this is why it's so special. You were never getting that opportunity at that belt ever. And I'm not trying to say WWE is racist. I don't do that. I don't go on these podcasts and just shit on cats just cause. But because there never was, why would you feel you'd be the first? So these guys had a moment. And I think it was either later on the day or the next day, MVP had made another one. And he talked about it. And he said, Vince, let me just say thank you. Okay, now, MVP was from that company. I don't know if they had ill will or whatever. But this means so much to an entire culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was finally, it finally happened. And this, to me, was the best match on the card. I don't like Daniel Bryan. I'm not a fan of him. Don't really care about his work. Kofi and Daniel Bryan put on a fucking main event. That's what they did. They were the main event. They were fucking WrestleMania. When you think of WrestleMania, you will always think of Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, not just because of Kofi being the first African-American World Heavyweight Champion, because of how great that match was, all the kickouts, and they were perfectly timed kickouts. It wasn't just like, a fucking move and a guy kicks out like a strong move and then he just goes to rolling back over, just like, come on, man, pin him. No. These were like spread apart. And for Kofi to finally go over, this was absolutely amazing. I'm excited about it. I just think that this was so well done. I don't know. I love it. I love it. And I think the MVP Shaq Gaspard thing was absolutely beautiful. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. All this shit, pure emotions were out there. Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. People are jumping up and down. People are fucking excited. And that's the part that people don't understand. It's not just the Kofi fans were excited. No, everybody was excited. This was true change. And not only that, is as much as I don't like the New Day, I thought it was cool they pulled out the shirts. I thought it was cool he had his kids there. Mm-hmm. This changed the game, and I loved it.
I think it was a great feel-good moment. He got presented with not Daniel Bryan's title, but the OG title with, his name on it, the kids, like you mentioned. You know what a lot of people compared it to was in 2004 with that same reaction, the crying. It was like when Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, because Eddie Guerrero was this guy, he was often called Vanilla Midget, then he finally wins the big one. So a lot of people kind of compared it to when Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Eddie Guerrero, the thing is that I don't know if Kofi Kingston, who, from what I understand now, and I didn't think of it, he's a grand champion, right?
Yes, Grand Slam. He was the WWE Intercontinental Tag Team United States Champion. Now he has finally won the big belt. So, yeah, Grand Slam champ.
So he's a Grand Slam champion. I don't know if he goes into the Hall of Fame. I don't know that. You know what I mean? First off, actually, he probably should definitely go in with some of the people that are in the Hall of Fame now. Yeah. If Kofi Kingston doesn't make the fucking Hall of Fame, like, someone should burn down WWE.
I mean, for God's sake, Brutus the Barber Beefcake quit it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try to think logically. And, we as fans, we think, oh, this guy, you don't know, whatever. But with Eddie Guerrero, you knew the star he was through WCW. Now, I don't know his Mexico work like that. When I was growing up, I was into sports. I played sports. I was always playing sports outside, playing leagues. I knew WCW, WWE, and that was it. I did not know the AAAs. I didn't know the Crashes or, whatever else amazing, because some of these places are absolutely beautiful. The fan base is amazing. They do great fucking work. I don't know those places. I admit that I know them now. But Eddie Guerrero was a legend prior to WWE or WWF. He was a legend. So when he came in, you knew he was star power. When he won it, I'm not Mexican, not at all. I'm a Puerto Rican guy from Queens, New York. But when a Latino wins something, the culture feels it, because I don't give a shit who wants to say whatever. Listen, Latinos, we love this shit. We're one. So that was an amazing moment, and it's kind of like the Kofi thing. We finally get ours. You know what I mean? Like, so it is. Maybe I talked too long, my fault, but I'm just saying,
No, you were great. You said it beautifully, man. I think your sentiments are very echoed. Your sentiments are echoed by a lot of our listeners. And speaking of our listeners, we do have a couple final things. Well, one thing I forgot to mention, let's get this out of the way. Looks like Cody Deaner and Jake Deaner, a.k.a. Jake Something, who's the boyfriend of Ruby Riott in WWE, have signed with Impact. Now, Cody Deaner was there with ODB before, doing that gimmick. And Jake Deaner is, he's his cousin or whatever it is. They're a tag team now. What do you think about Impact bringing back Cody Deaner, and we now have the signing of Jake Something, who is Jake Deaner?
You know what? I don't know why I don't remember him. And I love ODB. I always liked ODB. I thought ODB was always an extremely entertaining fucking knockout. When people said it, I was like, I just don't remember this cat. And it's no disrespect. It's not me trying to be funny for the podcast or make people laugh, because a lot of the times we do that. We try to just be entertaining, because nobody wants to hear just a cut and dry podcast. So we try to make things funny. I honestly don't remember this guy, at all. I don't know why I don't. I just don't remember him.
He was like a redneck character. He was at ODB for a little bit. I forgot what he was involved with, but I know he was there around the 2009 time period. He was a comedy character, and then apparently he's gotten better. He was in GFW, so he is a Jeff Jarrett guy. He is good friends with Jeff Jarrett. Jake something has been going around the indie circuit. He's been doing his thing. Very talented, big dude. So it's interesting to see the dynamic that those two will have. And just to say this to you as a little tongue in cheek, something is not not his actual name, Chef. His name is not really something at the last name, if you know what I'm saying.
No.
Oh, God. That's why I love you, dude. Okay. Let's get to one of the other matters. Hall of Fame was very nice. We got to see Tori Wilson go in, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Sue, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Oh, God, it starts with an A. Forgive me, Sue, who was involved with Make-A-Wish and does a lot of great work on that and received the Warrior Award. We got to see, I mentioned Tori Wilson, Brutus the Beefcake, her, the Honky Tonk Man. We got to see Harlem Heat, DX, the Hart Foundation, and this is where we get, unfortunately, what happened. Bret Hart got attacked by a 26-year-old fan. Apparently, from what I heard, this fan also got arrested early in the year for stalking, so this gentleman has issues. A lot of people got involved. Dash Wilder got a shot in. David Hart Smith got a shot in. Bret got a shot in. And this dude, he looks to be having some jail time for many years for what he did. But one of the big things, I know I have to mention this because we both love him. We think he's awesome. Drake Maverick, pay no attention to that man. Let's keep going on with the show. So, thoughts on the incident that unfortunately happened at the Hall of Fame with Bret the Hitman Hart?
I'm sick of shit like this. I think that fans need to fucking relax. Like, I don't know what goes through your motherfucking head. Don't touch these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't touch any athlete. Don't touch celebrities. Don't touch any normal people. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. Like, to be honest with you, watching him get his motherfucking ass whooped, I thought that shit was hilarious. I enjoyed that. I really, you have no idea how much I enjoyed watching him get beat the shit out of. And also that last shot, I think that was the Dash Wilder guy.
Yes, sir, of the Revival.
Woo! Dude, he unloaded a serious one on him. Yeah, he snuck one in there real quick. I hope he don't get, arrested or nothing like that, whatever. But you got to think, why are you trying to take from this person's moment? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, not only that, Natalia was the one that was involved with it too, right? She tried to hold him up or whatever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? Your thought process was, I'm going to tackle this guy? And then what? Did you not think this through? All his fucking comrades are sitting around the ring. You didn't think one of them were going to come in throwing haymakers? These are wrestlers. Even if they don't know how to fight, these guys are big.
Well, what made
you dumb?
I know, you dumb motherfuckers, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, like I said, I love Spud when Spud was like, pay no attention to this prick. You know what I mean? Like, that to me changed the vibe. It set the tone back again. Don't let that be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. I've always, Drake Maverick, my fault. I'm so used to calling him Rockstar Spud or Spud. Love Drake Maverick. I love the fact that he was able to bring the attention back. It was a negative spot. But on the positive, hey, the guy got his ass whooped.
Now, one other thing I have to mention, did not mean to cut you off, sir, but I have to mention this to you. Eddie Guerrero is actually one that stand the test of time with me because Rob Van Dam and Eddie Guerrero had that ladder match on Raw. There was a fan that rushed the ring and knocked Eddie Guerrero off the ladder, and Eddie Guerrero just punched him right in the face.
Yeah. I mean, also, didn't one happen in WCW where it was like Macho Man, the guy climbed the cage and they just started jacking him?
Yeah, there was one with that, and then I remember one of the little referees got involved, and so, I mean, the refs are getting involved and people are getting involved. Like, what the hell are you people thinking? And I think what I also liked is Road Dogg, when he was doing a speech, he goes, I like to see you sons of bitches try to run up the ring on DX, which I thought was very funny. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not trying to antagonize nothing, but I thought it was really funny. I loved it. DX was kind of my favorite. I think that, and it wasn't even the fact that they did it or it wasn't the video tribute to China. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to say thank you to the fans because the fans are the ones who started saying thank you, China, thank you. Like, they let it be known. You know what I mean? The fans made that one special for me. I'm a huge China fan, always have been. God bless the dead, but China changed the game. China was revolutionary. Like, she was amazing. People could say whatever they want about her. I loved her. I'm a mega fan. Always will be a fan. No question. Love her work through D-Generation X, through, winning the women's championship, through her and Eddie Guerrero, which I thought was absolutely entertaining all the time. It was her career, which is absolutely amazing.
The first ever woman to be Intercontinental Champion, beating Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, when she did when she was in the King of the Ring, they were even saying, wow, if she wins, it'll be the first ever Queen of the Ring.
Exactly.
It's little things like that people don't understand how much she meant to the industry, how much she meant to people, the bigger girls like Beth Phoenix or Natalia, not your typical little Barbie girls. You know what I mean? Like, she was just revolutionary. I love China, so I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Now, the other two things I have to mention before I have you plug yourself, Chef, because I know you're doing a lot of great things, and that's why I love you. But I have to mention this to you. Dude, what'd you think about the shots? Triple H telling Billy Gunn, hey, he'll fire you again, and, he'll buy your little pissant company, and pretty much saying anybody can call themselves an executive vice president now and think that they're worth. So I'm taking those jabs at AEW.
Oh, man. I like the game. Let me start with the game. I love the game. I think that I don't know what merited him to feel that way. I don't know, because he's kind of stayed low-key quiet about AEW. He hasn't really said shit.
Well, I think, Chef, I don't mean to interrupt you and I cut you off. I want to get your thoughts, but I think it's just because Billy Gunn's a producer there, and they figured, hey, Billy's here. Let's get some jabs in there.
Okay, you know what? I forgot about that one. Billy Gunn is definitely involved. I did forget that. That falls on me. To be honest with you, if Billy Gunn didn't feel sitting right there that it was disrespectful, maybe they talked about something. I don't know. But to be honest with you, I know, and I'm excited about AEW. I really am. But they're not just going to come in and they're not just going to take over WWE right off the bat. AEW has to be consistent for 5 to 10 years. Whatever their big pay-per-view is, if it's going to be their Mania pay-per-view is going to be All In, that has to be consecutively amazing for year after year after year. Their shows have to be amazing for the next group of kids to say, you know what? I want my AEW moment. I want my All In moment. I don't, WrestleMania used to be dope. Like when you think about it, look at boxing and UFC. Like my parents, they're from the boxing era. They love the Durans. They love all those guys. You know what I mean? My era fell in love with UFC. So all those guys who, it transitioned out, boxing's still doing its thing. They were the top dog. Now UFC is the shit. If AEW could stay consistent and great show after great show and great pay-per-view, the next group of kids can say, man, Mania used to be the shit. But All In is what I want to do. I want my All In moment. That takes years. Everyone's sitting there just, AEW is taking over WWE. Fucking relax. WWE is the fucking Mecca. It's going to be the Mecca. So give this shit time. If the way he said, listen, I like when people take shots. I find it funny. But at the same time, when you take shots, that means you're putting a bullseye on your back as well. Mm-hmm. So you better step your game up because AEW is going to come out swinging.
I mean, and they did in that being the lead episode. They addressed the pissant thing. So there was a lot of fun going back and forth. And all I can say is it's very exciting times for professional wrestling. And the only thing I forgot to mention is we saw him in the crowd at NXT. I want to get your thoughts really quickly, Chef, before I have you promote the social media. Thoughts on Kushida, the former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, New Japan star, is now on the NXT brand.
I'm excited about this. Super talented guy. My only issue is I don't know if he speaks English, and I hope he doesn't get stuck kind of in the Nakamura thing, because Nakamura is a fucking beast. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like all these Asian guys who come over and they don't speak English, I think it really hurts them in WWE because, they want them to cut promos. If he cannot, I hope they do the smart thing and actually just put a mouthpiece on him. Put a hot chick next to him. You know what I mean? Like, let her talk shit. Get him a Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, I think they call her over there.
Yes.
Give him someone like that. You know what I mean? Give him someone that could just talk and let him do what he does best and entertain people in the ring. This dude, and he's young, right? He's like super young.
Yeah, he's in his 30s, but he's still pretty young.
Oh, wow. This dude looks, okay, great genes, because I thought he was in like his early 20s.
I'm going to take a look now because I think he's in his 30s. That's got me bugged. So hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah. No, so I'm excited about this. I really think that NXT could be a beautiful platform to him to start getting himself over. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of call-ups. I think, oh, shit, I forgot these ROH guys. I think they're just recently called up. They're getting called up soon. So you do have guys phasing up and enough room for people to grow. So him coming to NXT, you can fine-tune him there. Just if he's not good on a mic, please give him someone to talk to. I don't even care if you give him a Mr. Fuji type of dude. Just give him somebody to talk so you don't sit there and say, well, he just can't talk, so I can't put him in the limelight.
And I think with Kushida, by the way, he's 35.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I mean, yeah. I don't think he'll stay there long. But damn, that dude looks great for his age. Let me tell you that much.
He does. And I think you have the War Raiders. Those are the ROH guys. They're doing their thing on NXT as a tag champs. You got a lot of talents, is what I'm saying. So don't waste them. Let's just keep having more exciting times for wrestling in all brands, and let's just have exciting times for pro wrestling in a whole. I think we can end it on that. Absolutely.
So
plug yourself.
There we go. Let's start plugging our social medias on Twitter. It's going to be Infamous6, but the I is a number 6, so it's S6X. It's really that simple at Infamous6. Two Instagram handles, myself, Heel Team 6, same way you spell 6 with the 6, _chef, and at Bodega Wrestling Pod. And you'll see some really cool graphics. We post a lot of stuff that we do on the show. Everything that we post there is from us. It's from either being at an event, it's interviews, it's, all graphics. We don't take nothing off of anybody else's social media. Everything we create is in-house. So it's a really cool place for our own little stuff. And we promote all wrestlers from all different companies. We're not just a one, company group.
So I think with that being said, check out Bodega Wrestling on Twitter. Check out yours truly at SM Show 1 or at MCL92 on Twitter. The website is StephenMikeShow.com. That's www.StephenMikeShow.com. My SoundCloud's MCLarkin92, where you can check out nostalgia shows like the Golden Age Everything, the Stephen X Hockey Experience, Stephen Mike Show, On the Mic with Mike. There's a lot of great content there. There's a lot of great content from Bodega Wrestling. So check us all out. Check out Jorge. Check out Courtney Summers, check out Chef, check out myself, check out everybody who's just doing their thing in the podcasting game, and just much love, and thank you all for listening. And Chef, as always, it's a pleasure, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. It's time for us to get up out of here and do what we do.
We out. Peace.